Hey there everybody, Onurubu here. Continuing on with 999 from where we left off last time. Hello Ace, goodbye Ace. So, last time we did this path, the 8 door which we hadn't done last time, which led us to the laboratory. Now, I want to continue on and I'm gonna be, so last time my aim is, I'm gonna do all the alternate paths before moving down the list and then doing more of the paths. So yeah, so now, my goal now is I'm gonna go through the 3 door. We've had this.
Well, we
had this. I'm gonna skip this text because we've
like
literally.
You even mean that?
I'm gonna skip this text because we've literally had it last episode. So last time I read it because we haven't seen it in a while.
You say something?
No.
Cool.
Huh?
Well, you first.
It's the same.
Got your. Who? All right. Junpei.
Go. I want the 3 door.
I want to go through door number 3. Nope, you can't.
I know you would say that. I remember you saying that. I can't go through door number 3. There's no possibility that would make me go through door number 3. Wait, isn't there? That's okay. If we can, so 3 of us can go to. So 3 of us can go through door 3, yeah? And so what's left over is 7, 8, 6. And they cannot go through. No, fuck it. I want to go through door 3, dude. I don't care. Like, I know what happens if we go through door number 7 and 8. Oh shit, sorry. I just pointed my fan at my microphone for like a good 10 seconds. Sorry if that sounded very bad. But yeah, let's go through door number 3.
Because it's impossible. If we split ourselves into 3 and 3, then we give up on going through door 3.
Why?
The bracelet numbers for the 6 of us are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait, 5 of us can go through a door at once, right? So, here's what we do. Clover, Junpei. Okay, we can't do that. Never mind.
There are 2 combinations that can go through door 3 with 3 people. 3, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8. That's it. Of course, 2 teams can't go through the same door.
I see. That means one team would get left behind.
Yeah, that's what we're doing
That's
this time.
That doesn't happen if we go through door 7 or 8?
Nope, it doesn't.
No, they're fine. We've got 3 options.
Santa began to explain.
Option A, have 3, 5, and 8, and 4, 6, 7.
Yeah,
Option
we had this
B,
last time.
4 and 3, 6. Option C, 3, 6, and 4. Those are the only 3 options. That's it. At least if we want to get all 6 of us out of here.
Wait.
That was when Junpei realized. Plan A divides into 2 teams. Plan B divides into 2 teams. Plan C divides into 2 teams. He can never be with June.
But that means...
There was one thing they all had in
5
common.
and 6 can never be on the same team. If we want all 6 of us to go through a door, then June and I can't go into the same one.
June and Junpei had been friends since they were kids. He trusted her more than anyone else on this ship. If he chose 7 or 8, he'd be taken away from her. Was that something he was prepared to do?
Have you mulled it over enough, or do you need more time? Anyway, that's the deal, so think it over. You've got 2 choices, 7 or 8. You can't choose 3. If you choose 3, you're gonna be leaving 3 people behind to die.
Not to die,
So
my
what are you
dude.
gonna do? 7 or 8? Time to choose.
I'm going through door 3. Junpei thought hard. After thinking it over, his conclusion was, I'm going through door 3.
Sorry, Santa, but I still want to go through door 3.
What? That's nuts! You've got to be crazy!
Unlocks, dude.
Why the hell are you so obsessed with that door?
Because I haven't gone through it, bro. That's the reason. I haven't gone through it. That's the only reason I'm so obsessed with that door.
I'm just...
Junpei paused. He swallowed the words he'd been about to say.
I'm just curious about door 3. That's all.
That doesn't explain shit!
I've got a reason. I'd be happy to explain it to you if you'll just come with me.
With that, he began walking toward the door. The curiosity likely getting the better of them, the others followed. After a few of them looked a little suspicious, but Junpei told himself that wouldn't matter. He kept walking and kept silent. Eventually, they arrived at the number 3 door. Junpei stopped.
I'm curious about the red. 7, would you mind authenticating for me?
Why?
Please, just do it.
He stared at Junpei for a moment, then grunted and laid his palm heavily on the scanner.
Happy?
Yeah, thanks.
The number 7 has been entered into the red.
Next is June. Please touch the red just like 7 did.
Jumpy, what are you trying to figure out?
Yep. I think.
Jumpy. Wait, 6, 7. Junpei thought about his answer for a moment. So wait, 6, 7, 5, that's 9. Cool. Yeah. 6, 7, 5, 3. We're leaving Lotus behind. And Lux.
I think I might have found another way out.
What?
Really?
I got them excited. Just as Junpei had
Now
intended.
please, June.
Oh, okay.
1 plus 6 equals 13. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Those two numbers in red. Junpei had what he wanted. 8, 4, 1. I have no idea what the fuck Junpei is doing. Unless his plan is to just push all of them inside and then lock the door. Plus 5 equals 9.
Alright, the only people who haven't authenticated now are Santa, Clover, and Lotus.
So, what's your point?
You don't get it. Think about it.
Huh?
What's the sum of your number and Clover's?
12, 3,
12.
And what's the digital root of that?
3.
3.
Which is Santa's number. By the way, Lotus, what's the number that's currently in the red?
9.
7 plus 6 plus 5 equals 18. It would be 9, right?
Yep,
Yes, and what will the digital root be if you add 3 to that?
it'll be 3.
3. The door's number.
There you go.
Hey, wait a minute. What the hell are you up to?
I'm not up to anything. I'm just waiting.
Waiting for what?
I'm waiting for the balance to shift. Santa,
Excuse me?
or Lotus and Clover. Once one of you moves, the others won't have a choice. So I'm waiting.
Junpei laid his hands almost casually on the lever.
You son of a bitch! You tricked us! And all that stuff you were going on about is all bullshit!
Bullshit. Huh. I don't think so. Didn't I tell you I'd figured out another way to get out of here?
Why the hell would you do something like this?
Junpei glanced at June.
Jumpy?
You did this just so you could go through the same door as June. That's it?
Santa was furious. His face was... Okay, no, that wasn't my reasoning. That was Junpei's reason. My reason is because I want to go through door 3. Santa was furious. His face was red and flecks of spit flew from his lips as he spoke. Junpei closed his eyes calmly and then reopened them again.
So,
reopened them again.
who's it
Opened them
going to
again.
Santa, or Lotus and Clover?
Shit!
Lotus.
Let's go, Clover. Huh?
Lotus leapt forward. She grabbed Clover by the sleeve and ran for Junpei and the door.
Fuck!
Caught by surprise, Santa froze for a moment, then shot forward like a bullet from a gun. Lotus had a head start, but Santa had the advantage in size and speed. Almost immediately, he passed Lotus and Clover.
No, wait!
Santa did not hesitate.
Ah!
Slammed his hand down on the red.
This is insane! This isn't right!
He glared at Junpei, his chest heaving.
Yeah, well, you may be right.
Junpei's voice was cold, but not without effort.
But
He turned to the red and pulled the lever. With the sound of metal on metal, the door opened. It would only remain so for 9 seconds. There was no time
Go.
to think. Junpei and his 3 reluctant companions jumped into the door's gaping mouth, one after another. No sooner did they enter than an all too familiar noise sounded from their left wrists. The detonators had activated. Junpei looked back only once and saw Lotus and Clover on the other side of the closing door.
No!
They stood still, stopped where they had been when Santa reached the red. The defeat and desperation on their faces tore at Junpei's heart. And the door closed and they were gone.
You son of a bitch, Junpei! This isn't fair!
Santa rounded on Junpei, lightning crackling in his eyes and his knuckles white.
Do you realize what you just did? You leave them out there, and they can't...
Shut it! That's enough!
It hadn't been Junpei that spoke, but Seven.
We gotta find the dead or none of this is gonna matter!
The clock was ticking. The dead was their only chance at survival. Unless they could find it and activate their detonators, the four of them would be...
We got less than a minute left! No time for screwing around! Get moving!
Damn it! You and I are not done yet, bastard!
Scattered and began to scour the room. The activation device was nowhere to be found.
Where the hell is it?
Corridors stretched out in three directions, but everyone was blocked off by a wall of metal. There was only one way out. One other door.
Over there! It's gotta be behind the door!
Seven ran for the door, a rusty iron thing. His large hands grabbed hold of the handle and pulled.
Damn, it's pitch dark inside.
Can't see a thing!
Junpei stuck his head through the door and looked around the room.
Wait!
Almost immediately spotted the blinking red light on the right
I
wall.
found it! The dead's right over here!
He stepped into the room.
Ugh. What? The floor's slippery!
Stopped and glanced down at his feet.
Hey!
What was...
What the hell are you doing?
It's Snake.
There's something...
Get over there!
Junpei felt Seven's heavy hand against his back and stumbled across the room. The others three piled in behind him. They all felt immediately that something was wrong. Nothing that could easily be identified, only a sense that something terrible shared the room with them. But there was no time to say so.
Quick! Get to the dead!
They all started running. In the dark it was hard to tell where the wall was. All they could see was the tiny red light blinking at them over and over and over.
There it...
In quick succession, they all slammed their hands against the scanner panel. So Snake was already dead. Snake was already dead by this point. So Snake was already dead by this point. Seven leaned against the wall, gulping air. As his breathing began to return to normal, he glanced at his left wrist and grunted.
It stopped. It stopped.
Junpei could hear him laughing in the dark, but could barely make out the larger man's face.
I don't think I'll ever get used to doing this.
Shh, I don't think you should.
What the...
Sound of retching came from Santa's direction.
What the hell is this smell?
It's Snake.
This is vile. I'm gonna puke.
So desperate had they been in their race to the dead that no one had noticed the horrible smell that pervaded the room. It was a terrible, nauseating stench like burnt and rotten meat. Adrenaline had drowned it out, but now it rolled over Junpei in waves, forcing itself into his nose with every breath he took.
Oh, you're right. This is...
Felt his stomach clench and bile rise up in his throat.
Let's get the lights on first. There's a switch over here.
The light that spilled in from the room barely illuminated a small switch plate next to the door. Slowly, with the toll of the last few minutes apparent in his gait, Seven walked towards it. So where am I right now? I'm here. Okay, cool. I'm locked into a specific ending, by the way. Ah, that sound! So, I'm locked into this ending. I literally, if you go through the 3 door, you can't get any other ending except for the one that I'm locked into now. That's interesting.
Okay, guys, I'm flipping it on.
There was a soft click as the light came on. Just as the light turned on, June took in a short breath and... Scream echoes through the room. Junpei's breath stopped in his throat. His heart ceased to beat. Time froze. His mind scrambled to make sense of what he saw before him.
What?
Hey. Oh, this is...
What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great red sea. A vast ragged hole had been torn in the torso and what remained of his intestines spilled out of it like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and become stuck there as they dried. Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall even as they dried to it.
Looks like an explosion. Just like the Ninth Man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bottom of his gut.
Oh god. The bone is coming out of his left arm.
It's definitely an open fracture.
It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful. His legs were both bent in an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had been split open, exposing the painfully white bone of his ulnar. His bracelet lay next to him. It seemed to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in
The
pieces.
face is the worst.
Yeah, can't even tell who it is.
Half of his head was completely collapsed. The blood coating almost made it look like raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. His clothes too were covered in blood. Burgundy tie and a white shirt, the jacket with the yellow piping and the grey slacks.
But the clothes are...
They were all familiar to Junpei.
Is that
Snake.
Snake?
Sander's voice wavered as he spoke, his mouth dry.
Oh my god.
Finally, Junpei spoke.
Why did this happen?
Whoa, that scared me. Oh, that actually creeped me out. Suddenly, June was screaming, her voice broken. It was an eerie scream full of insanity and not entirely human. She shook her head violently and grabbed fistfuls of her own hair. Junpei could hear the sound of hair
Stop!
tearing.
Calm down.
He grabbed for her wrist.
Hey!
But as he did, June leapt up and ran toward the exit.
Please! Get me out of here! You have to let me out of here!
She screamed at the door and her fist slams against in a hollow sound. Junpei could see drops of blood in her knuckles.
Why are you doing these horrible things to us? What did we do to deserve this?
June.
She screamed again, a desperate, mindless cry, her fists flailed against the door.
Get me out of here! Please! Please! Just let me out!
June.
Junpei couldn't watch anymore. He ran to June and wrapped his arms around her, pulling the screaming girl away from the door.
Calm down.
No! Get off of me! Let me go! Let me go!
Please, calm down.
She scrambled for a moment, her legs skittering across the floor, but her resistance didn't last long. As suddenly as her outburst had begun, it was over. The manic energy disappeared and her body went limp in Junpei's arms. June collapsed toward the floor and Junpei knelt down with her. Felt drops of something warm and wet. She crying? A moment later she began to sob. Her shoulders shook and great hot tears rolled down her face like rain.
We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be alright, June. It's going to be okay, Connie.
Honey, was a whisper.
I'll be here with you, okay?
She nodded once.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jumpy.
Trembling voice pulled at Junpei's heart. He stroked her hair gently. His face was so close to her. The scent of her hair was nostalgic.
Do you feel better?
Yes, but I'd like to stay here. For a little while, at least. Jumpy's body is so warm.
Okay, girl. Okay. I get that was a traumatic experience. I understand. No need to be thirsty now. Several minutes passed before June's tears had dried. Junpei stood up, bent down and put his arms under June's and helped her to her feet. They didn't speak. Neither did Seven or Santa. person was dead. They had died in that room in a terrible way. Junpei knew there was no chance he could make himself forget that. There was no way any of them could forget it, but the morning would do no good. They spread out to search the room, but each felt as if their heart was made of lead.
We better get to it.
Seek a way out. Shower room. Hello? Oh, my controller turned off. Excellent! Just great. Now I need to plug this thing in. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, so now that we're in the room where Snake died and we're getting to spend more than like a minute in here, I want someone to acknowledge the writing on the wall. I really want someone to acknowledge the writing on the wall. Like I'm gonna do right now. This letter's written in blood. L-R. Where do you see? Oh, okay, there's two L's. I didn't see the second L. L-L-R. Do you think that might be some sort of dying message from a snake? Oh, that's impossible. You saw the body. You aren't doing anything after something like that happens to you. Then this... The way the blood's dry tells you it's real old. Okay, cool. That's not a dying message from a snake. Whatever's blood this is, it ain't snakes. You're saying this blood was put here a long time ago? Yeah. Okay, so that's the light switch. An old message written in blood. It says LLR. Left, right, probably. Probably. That's where we came in. I guess it's not locked, but there ain't really any point. And all that's out there is the number door. We can't go back through the number door, even if we wanted to. Toilet paper with writing on it. Toilet paper with some kind of red symbols on it. May think that's a Skytail cipher. Skytail cipher. What the hell's that? Wrap a piece of paper around the stick and then write several sentences on it so that the whole paper is filled up. Then you unwrap the paper and you can't tell what the original message was, right? That's how it works, more or less. And to decipher, you gotta have the stick at the same diameter as the original one. Same diameter as the original one, huh? Yeah. You just wrap the paper around that stick and you can read the code. A wooden box. There's something in here. Luminol! Dude, I just feel like I'm playing CSI now. What the hell is this thing? Some kind of spray bottle? There's something written on it. Luminol. I can't read anything else. That label's all favorite. Lumen. Let me see that. Just grabbed it from... That wasn't very nice. Oh, this is luminol. You know, forensic guys use it at crime scenes. It makes wiped away blood shine up. Oh yeah, that stuff that glows blue when you spray it on blood. Even if the blood's been wiped off, it'll still glow. Toilet. Dividing wall that separates the toilets. Bucket. Is that a bucket? Dear God. The tin bucket. Hey Jumpy, do you remember something? We had to clean up something at school probably, that's what I said. And all they gave you was a sponge and a bucket like this. Hey, come on now, can't we just leave the past in the past? It's tin bucket. Junpei reached for the broom and as he grabbed it he heard a soft voice from behind him. It was June.
The rabbit hutch.
Excuse me?
Huh?
He turned around. June still looked sadly pale, but there was a smile on her face.
Oh, you just reminded me of it. The rabbit hutch, I mean.
Maybe that's what you said when I clicked on the bucket and skipped the text.
How did I remind you of something like that?
Jumpy and the broom. You're always playing around with the broom in front of the rabbit hutch.
I was.
Don't you remember?
Junpei stared at the broom in his hand.
You mean you don't remember that summer either?
She looked very sad. He shook his head.
Of course I remember. How could I forget something like that? It was terrible.
They were in their 6th grade. Junpei and June had been assigned to take care of the classroom pets, the rabbits. Chief duty was to clean the hutches every morning. The final day of school before summer vacation began, Junpei overslept. He rushed to school and found June standing in front of the rabbit hutches. Aww. No sooner had Junpei arrived than June began to cry. He had no idea why until he looked behind her into the rabbit hutch. The first thing he saw was blood. The hutch was full of the dead bodies of the rabbits. Soon after their teachers and friends came to see what the commotion was, June couldn't stop crying.
I just kept crying and crying until you came over. You held my hand, and you looked very serious, and you said, "Don't cry. I'm gonna catch the person who did this." After you told me that, I finally stopped crying.
Well, the real fun started after you quit crying. You told me we were gonna catch the killer together.
June smiled, and a little of the flush of life returned to her cheeks.
Then we decided that we'd ambush them.
Yeah, I remember.
School also kept roosters and guinea pigs. Junpei and June had decided that the murderer would like to return to finish off the rest of the animals. Was it a fox or something? It was probably a fox. Even they would ambush the killer at night. Or was it just some sick fucking kid? Junpei and June hid behind the hutch at dusk and waited. It was a warm summer night. Quiet sounds of crickets whispered through the air. As the sun went down, the stars began to wink at them from the sky, and June's, Akane Kuroshiki's face. That night was something Junpei knew he would never forget as long as he lived.
But the murderer never showed up. We waited for them all summer vacation, and they never showed up.
Yeah, but the animals didn't get attacked either. I think all that work amounted to something, you know?
Felt the same way, but it was good to hear her say it.
Although, you know, if you think about it, we were probably taking on a lot more than we could handle.
What do you mean?
She looked up at him confused.
Come on, we were just kids. If whoever killed the rabbits had actually showed up, you must have been pretty worried, right?
I wasn't worried.
As I was with you.
Because you were there with me.
Aw. She blushed furiously.
But you know, no one else wanted to take care of the animals.
Clearly embarrassed, she tried desperately to change the subject.
I was the only one who asked to do it at first.
Yeah, well, boys don't really want to bother with taking care of animals, you know.
Well, yeah, but you asked to do it after I did, didn't you?
If it wasn't the rabbits, they were going to make me do something else. You know how that school was. I figured it'd be better if I was working with somebody who wasn't too much of a loudmouth, right? Somebody who wasn't going to tell on me if I felt like blowing it off.
Really? That's why you volunteered?
No, dude, he's just trying to act cool.
Yeah, it is.
He nodded quickly and much too earnestly, and then quickly looked away at something very important.
Really?
Of course.
Then that hadn't been the reason, of course. He had asked to take care of the rabbits that it could be near June. That had been so long ago, he couldn't bring himself to tell her how he'd felt back then. It would be embarrassing. He took a quick breath to clear his head, tossed the broom up, and then snatched it out of the air.
Well, we don't really have time to be walking down memory lane like this, you know? We've got to figure out a way out of this room. Otherwise...
Yes. I'm gonna look over there.
June nodded curtly and then turned and walked away.
I should get back to it myself.
Yeah.
Ah! That's right. The pool of blood.
Junpei turned around and looked at the room. At Snake's body. Chunks of flesh and organs still lay on the floor.
Going on and on about old times right next to a corpse? What were we doing? Well, maybe it was because we're in this mess.
Despite such a situation, or perhaps because of it, the mind turned to the farthest thing from death that it could find. Still, Junpei couldn't help but feel a twinge of guilt at wanting so desperately to live when Snake lay dead before him.
I have to survive, no matter the cost. I need to make sure she gets out too.
As he stared at the clumps of blackened flesh, all Junpei could think of was how much he wanted to live. Room. What's you doing with the broom? It's playing with it. Dividing wall that separates the toilets. Oh, okay. Let's just say, fine. Cipher with the... What if I wrap the toilet paper around the room? Broom wrapped toilet paper. What does it say? Oh, so you wrapped the toilet paper on the broom, huh? Looks like the symbols line up perfectly. It's like 634 plus. What do you think this is? Looks like tar. It's kinda sicky. I don't think we can just wipe it off. Without just pouring water on it's gonna help much either. What about hot water? Hot water? If we had some really hot water like boiling water, then maybe that would wash it off. Nah, no, I'm gonna spray some luminol on it. Something that looks like tar inside the toilet bowl. Hot water might be able to wash it off. Okay, never mind. I just need to get hot water. Cool. Light bulb provides light for this room. Riveting. There's nothing in the toilet. There was something, that'd be gross. I already checked all 3 toilets, you know. Nothing unusual there. Looks like a card, like a key card. Wonder if we can get to it somehow. Don't think so. It's too deep, I can't reach it. Would you like try to pull it up using the... Would you like try to pull it up using the broom? There's a key card in there, but I can't reach it. Dude, just fucking... Okay, take the broom, like flip it up, pull it up against the wall. It's easy. It's a thermometer. Can you get it off? Oh, it's screwed onto the wall. Nothing's happened when I press these buttons. Well, it looks like the power's on. I'm wondering what these deals with these things that say lock up there, though. There's a piece of paper tied to this pipe with a wire. Notice, drainage valve operation. Please do not flush the water in these pipes. Doing so may cause the drain to overflow. Let's flush the water in the pipes. Looks like the flow of the water can be controlled with these handles. Can't put any water through the pipes to be on the right. We can't put any water the pipe on the right though. Do that, it'll start overflowing from the drain. I'm so confused. There's water coming out of the shower. Let's see if... Shit, that's hot. Really hot. Man, that water must be just about boiling. Maybe I can use the shower head here to fill the bucket with hot water. Hey, Seven, could you turn on the shower? I'm gonna put the bucket under the head. Ah, okay, sure thing. It's filled with water. Try not to spill it, okay? It's heavy. Okay, okay. I'll carry it. Something that looks like tar inside the toilet bowl. If I flash the hot water from the bucket, that should clean it up. Yes, can we do that? Can we do that, please? Do I... Oh, okay, cool. I have to do it the convoluted way, because then I can't find the screwdriver. Dude, my first instinct would not be to fill the tank. So, 0, I would not have found the screwdriver. It's a screwdriver. We can unscrew things with this. Was there something we need to unscrew somewhere? Yes, there was. Toilet tank. There's nothing in it. It which means it can't flush it. Kinda hard to flush a toilet without water. No, it's not. You just use the bucket filled with hot water. Right, so just pour the hot water into this tank, and looks like you filled it. I should be able to flush it, right? It's probably a handle somewhere in the tank that you can pull. I think so. Seriously? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Dude, that's generally how toilets work. Right, let's flush the hot water. Oh, there it goes, just like a toilet should work. 185 equals... 634 plus 185. Dirty flushed out and settled to the bottom of the bowl. Stuff we washed off. It's like writing his numbers, see it? 185 equals, what is this? Oh, just look like numbers. Okay, where did we find the other numbers? I forgot. I actually forgot where we found the other numbers. Yikes. Oh god, where was the other numbers? Where were the other numbers? Excuse me. Oh yeah, it was on the toilet. It was on the broom. It's like 634 plus on the toilet. So 634. 185 equals... Oh yeah. 634 plus 185 equals 819. Let's check the tank of this one. Might be something in the tank, you know. Let's open that shit up. Ooh, nice. Red keycard. It's a red keycard. Probably a keycard. Do you remember if you saw card readers anywhere around here? Yeah, I do. Let's just first unscrew this.
Hey, Junpei, you know why thermometers only go up to 107 degrees Fahrenheit?
Oh boy, bring out the Google again.
No, I can't say I ever thought about that.
At 107 degrees, the cells in the human body start to die, and the organs begin to shut down. The proteins in your cells start to harden.
That's called denaturing.
It's like when you hard-boil an egg. Even if you cool it down afterwards, it won't go back to being a raw egg.
The albumin gets denatured.
In other words, it's dead. That's why thermometers don't go past 107. There's no point.
Oh yeah?
But it's pretty rare for a fever to get that high. Even viruses and stuff don't usually drive the body temperature up to 107.
So that's 41.6 recurring degrees Celsius. I had a 40-degree fever once. Ooh, when I was 6 or 7 years old, my mom told me I had a 40-degree fever once. My mom was shit scared, and I was apparently delirious as fuck through the whole thing. And apparently the one thing I just kept craving the whole time was prawns. I just wanted to eat some prawns. And my mom got me some prawns, and I ate them, and apparently I fucking hated them, which is weird. It was my first time eating prawns. I don't know why I was craving them when I'd never eaten them before. And I hated them, which is weird, because I love them now.
Of course, there are other external things that could.
Like what?
Well, let's see. Something like getting locked in a sauna.
Yep.
Or getting thrown into an incinerator and burnt to death.
Okay there, dude, calm down a bit.
Yeah, I guess that would get a little hotter than 107 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, I got it! Huh? What's up?
Nothing. Forget about it.
Okay,
What
dude.
was that all about?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Thermometer. Oh, you just took the thermometer off. It says open at the bottom of the gauge. I wonder what it means. Maybe when it gets that hot, something will open? Yeah, if I can get this hot water on the thermometer, then maybe. Alright, thermometer, let's get this party started. Yep, looks like that's doing the trick. There goes the gauge. And now it's at the open mark. Ah, it opened. What's this? Looks like there's a piece of paper in here. 957 plus. Oh, okay. 957 plus. That means you're supposed to add something to 957, doesn't it? Well, yeah, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Problem is, what to add. What we add is 819. Not 818. 819 plus 957 equals 1776. American Year of Independence. The year they signed the Declaration of Independence of America. Nice, nice number. The red light's on, Jumpy. Nothing happens when I press the buttons. I guess I have to get the red and blue lights on first. Cool. An old message written in blood. It says LLR. Wait, you don't really think we're supposed to use a luminol here, do you? Yeah, it does seem kind of weird to use it here. Maybe I should try it, just in case. Left, left, right, left, right, left. Just like you thought, Junpei. There's something more letters showing up after the LLR. See? It says left, left, right, left, right, left. Left, left, right, left, right, left. So left, okay, nope, left. Stop pressing more than left, left, right, left, right, left. While I did what it said on the wall, I wonder if it actually did anything. Hey, the strain's acting up. The hell did you do? I just messed with the valves a little, nothing big. Nice, let's get the key card. Must be water flowing through the pipe on the right. There's water pouring out of the drain. Blue keycard, Mercury, it's the blue keycard. This is the symbol for Mercury, isn't it? There's an elevator right outside the big hospital room. I think that the same symbol is on the card reader next to it. That's right. I guess that means we're not supposed to use this card in this room. Do you really think so? You don't think maybe we need it for this room and for the elevator? Nah, we need it for this room and for the elevator, my dude. Great job, Jumpy. Both the lights are on now. Now you can just need to put in the password. Both lights are on. We should be able to enter the password now. What's with these E and C keys? E means enter and C means clear, I think. So after you put in the password, hit E. If you screw it up, hit C. How many times do we have to have this explained to us, bro? Nice! You found it!
There's a large iron door at the end.
Let's take a look. Huh?
I like that puzzle a lot, dude. That was a fun part. Why am I on adventure screen? Yo, why am I on adventure screen? Outside the shower room was a hallway that expanded off to the left and right. There's a large iron door at the end. Let's take a look. They moved a few steps towards the door and Junpei heard the sound of metal on metal. Huh? They turned around, and Seven was doing something to the door of the shower room.
What are you doing, Seven?
Well, I figure maybe we might want to come back here sometime. So, I stuck the broom in there to keep the door from shutting. Alright, let's go.
You did that previously, as well, when we left the casino. But then he stood up and began walking to the hallway. He brushed past Junpei and kept going. After a moment, the rest of them followed him. Before long, they found themselves at the large iron door. They had only been there for a moment when June spoke up.
Jumpy, look!
Turned. There on the right side of the wall was a piece of paper attached to the wall. Hallway was a piece of paper attached to the wall. Probably the map.
What's up?
What's that on the wall there?
It's a map, probably.
Oh, I think it's...
Junpei ran over and peeled it off.
a map of the ship's interior?
Mm-hmm.
It says C deck.
So it's the map for this floor, then. We'll have time to study it later. Let's keep going for now.
I wonder. So this is the one door. The 1, 6, and 2 doors. Which one is it going to force me into? Is it going to force me into the 6 or the 2 door? Junpei folded the map and stuffed it into his pocket. Back at the door, the 4 of them lined up in front of it. Santa stepped forward. He grabbed hold of the door and then turned to look back at the rest of them.
Ready? I'm gonna open it.
Let's go. He nodded. Santa nodded back and threw the door open. All 4 of them leapt through.
What the?
You're shitting me.
Are we not back at the hospital, or are we at some completely different place? It took only for a moment for them to realize where they were. Hospital.
We're back.
They had been there only a short time ago. It was the large hospital room filled with countless beds. Lotus and Clover looked up as they entered. Ace was there as well, although he looked as though he'd only just woken up.
Clover! Lotus! And Ace! I'm glad you're all okay. Lotus? What are you...
The moment they spotted Junpei, Lotus and Clover headed straight for him. As she neared him, Lotus drew back her hand. Slapped the fuck out of him.
How could you do this to us?
Her face was furious. She grabbed Junpei by the collar and shook him violently. Clover didn't touch him, but the hate in her eyes was no less potent. It was 7 who stopped them.
Knock it off! We got bigger shit to worry about right now.
His deep voice echoed across the massive room. Lotus glared at 7, but let Junpei go after one last vicious shake.
What?
Go have a look. I stuck the screwdriver in the door. That door over there, the one without a number. As long as the screwdriver's there, it can't shut, so you can get in there. There's a shower room past there. I stuck a broom at the door there too. Anyway, go take a look.
Then you're saying we can go in there without passing through the numbered door?
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
Wait, what the hell is in there?
You'll know when you see it.
Fine, let's go.
Lotus and Clover looked at one another for a moment, then nodded and stepped through the door. I don't think you should be letting Clover go through there. By then, Ace had made his way to them, moving with the stiff, shuffling steps of someone who had only just awoken from a long, lengthy slumber.
My goodness. I know I said I was sure you'd come back for me. I didn't think it would happen so soon, though.
Ace shook his head weakly.
Should I go as well?
Yeah.
7 nodded.
Very well.
Ace followed Lotus and Clover with his stiff, tired gait. Yikes. The squeal of tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. It sounded like a noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Every time it put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should. It was Clover. She sat on the edge of the bed, her head drooping listlessly onto her chest. Her eyes were blank and stared across the room at nothing. Her breathing was slow and mechanical. Aside from the rise and fall of her chest, she didn't move. Junpei felt as if even a nudge might cause her to shatter into 1,000 pieces.
Snake was probably murdered. Chances are he was killed the same way the Ninth Man was.
7 lowered his voice, likely in an effort to keep Clover from hearing what he had to say. There were 4 other people in the room with Junpei and 7. Ace, Santa, June, and Lotus. 7 looked at each of them in turn and continued.
It's pretty straightforward. Not that hard to figure out how they did it. First, the killers got Snake to authenticate on the red to open door 3. Then they shoved him into it, alone, and waited 9 seconds for the door to shut. Once that door shut, it was all over for Snake, but he didn't give up. He probably knew it wouldn't do him any good, but he probably ran into the shower room looking for the dead. It was a small chance, but it wasn't like he had anything to lose. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The detonator is only deactivated if everybody who authenticated when they went in uses the dead. Snake was the only one who went through the door. And then, 81 seconds after he was shoved in, that happened.
I see. So that's what you meant by killers, huh? You need at least 3 people to open one of the numbered doors, including Snake. It wouldn't open for Snake and a single killer.
Yeah. That means we're looking at multiple perps here.
At least 2. Junpei crossed his arms and grunted.
Well, just in case, I want to make sure. Let's say you're right. When do you think Snake was killed?
When we were searching the rooms.
When we all split up to look for the parts for the Reds, I think. Right after that was when we noticed he was gone.
Then that means none of us have alibis.
Mm-hmm.
We were all off searching the rooms we'd been assigned, looking for those parts.
Yeah. That means anybody could be a killer.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
June seemed shocked.
How can you say that so casually? You're implying that one of us is a killer.
Yes. Nope. He's not actually. He's implying that at least 2 of us is a killer.
Not just one of us. If I'm right, then at least 2 of us are murderers.
Why don't you calm down a bit, Seven? What are you going to gain by being so suspicious? That's what Zero wants, you know?
What Zero wants?
Exactly. This game was set up by Zero, wasn't it? Any game has a winner and loser. Whoever makes it through door 9 is a winner, and those who don't are the losers. Zero is trying to make us fight against one another for that victory.
Then you're saying that Zero is trying to split us up by making us fight each other?
Yes. That is why we can't let ourselves fall prey to suspicion. We have to trust one another and form a strong bond of friendship. Otherwise, we'll end up ensnared by Zero's manipulations.
Dude, even with your thing, even with your logic, which I sort of agree with, 3 of us are going to be left behind.
Then does that mean that the person who killed Snake...
No, not 3 of us. 2 of us, because Snake's dead, the 9th man's dead, so there's 7 of us. So if we can get through there through the 9th door with a maximum of 5 people, 2 of us are going to be left behind.
Yes, almost certainly Zero himself. If there's anyone we should doubt, it should be Zero. He masterminded this game and kidnapped all of us. Doesn't it seem reasonable that he would have killed Snake as well?
Good question.
Junpei hadn't really considered
If
that.
Zero killed Snake, then Zero is on the ship with us.
Junpei, was Zero still on the ship with them? Of course. Because Zero's on the ship with us. Of course he was. That was obvious.
I don't...
Zero was somewhere on the ship, but Junpei had no idea where. Junpei mumbled to himself, lost in thought.
Where could Zero be hiding?
Dude, this just seems like this part again, so how is it gonna split now? Is it because Clover and Lotus hate me now, so they don't want to go anywhere with me? Suddenly everyone went very quiet. The silence was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and around his throat. Then he heard the ghostly moaning noise. Moments later, a person who looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke, and her voice was a cold monotone.
I think Zero is
One of us.
one of us.
Every human body in the room froze. The only sound was the muffled rustling of breath. Eyes darted from face to face. One of those faces was the face of their jailer. But who? Was he one of them? That's possible.
Well, that's possible.
Huh?
Like Clover said, Zero might be one of us.
What are you saying, Jumpy? Didn't you hear what Ace said?
Exactly. I said we shouldn't suspect one another for no reason.
What if Zero's Junpei and he just erased his own memory? Or Zero's Junpei and he's just like going through all these motions because he's like, hey, I just want to have a nice experience with the rest of the
No
people.
reason. I've got a great reason. And what's that?
The bracelets.
Y'all out his left
Why are the
arm.
bombs in our bodies connected to the bracelets? You're all thinking Zero's hiding somewhere watching us, right? If he's doing that, then he could just detonate the bombs by remote control if someone did something they weren't supposed to. It would be a lot more precise and a lot easier. But if that's the case, then why is the bomb set off by the detonator in the bracelet?
You got a point.
I'm not done. Try applying the same ideas to the nonary game. All of the puzzles here run all by themselves. In other words, Zero doesn't have to be controlling them for the game to move forward. Why's that? Why would Zero bother to do something like that?
Junpei let the question hang in the air and looked at the others. It was Santo who answered.
So let's say you and Clover are right. Zero's one of us. If that's the case, then it'd be really hard for him to keep track of all of us or control anything remotely. That's why all the puzzles run by themselves. That's what you're getting at, right?
Yep. Why would he take that risk?
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
7, when we were talking earlier, you said any one of us could be Snake's killer, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Alright then. I've got a question for you, Ace. You said something like Zero must be the one who killed Snake,
Those
right?
aren't mutually exclusive.
Yes, something like that. I can't think of any other explanation.
So what do we get if we combine those? They fit together pretty well, I think. Something like this. Whoever killed Snake is Zero. Hence, Zero is one of us. 7 and Ace's theories aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other pretty well. At least they do if Zero is one of us.
No one spoke. The faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. Finally, Lotus spoke up.
What were his motives?
His motives?
Yes, isn't that pretty important? Why would Zero want to hide as one of us?
Oh, well, that's because...
Yikes. Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that, and he had to be honest with himself. He had no idea.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed.
Well, so much for making a persuasive argument, Junpei.
In other words, you only had circumstantial evidence.
I don't really think that's enough to go on, you know?
Ah,
Junpei was painfully aware of their eyes on him and their disapproval. He tried to find something else, anything else to look at. Then, in that horrible silence, they have 3 hours left. They heard a bell begin to ring. It was the clock at the central staircase.
It's 3 in the morning.
That means we have 3 hours left.
Then we need to move now. 7, Clover, Junpei, I know how you feel, but you do understand that right now it's important we trust one another, don't you?
I do, yes.
you're right, but...
Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. He swallowed the words he wanted to say inside. 7 and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something somewhere else, very far
We
away.
must go. We have very little time left.
Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going.
Our next destination is... Mercury.
Nice.
Here we go.
They stood in front of the elevators next to the stairs that led to the casino and the kitchen. Between the 2 elevators was a card reader with the Mercury symbol engraved on it. Junpei stood in front of it with the Mercury
Oh,
keycard.
that's the...
Yeah, I found it in the shower room.
Oh, I see. It's got the Mercury symbol.
Took a deep breath and slid the card through the reader. Made a small beep and the lights on the reader blinked to life.
Now we can go.
7 people, including Junpei, climbed onto the elevator.
Looks like there's only 2 floor buttons working.
C and bottom.
The rest were destroyed or did nothing when pushed. So yeah, this is where it splits. This is where it splits. Because no one did door number 3 in the other 2 routes, we never got the Mercury keycard.
Time to head down then.
Junpei hit the bottom button. The door closed. Slowly they began to move downward. Sometime later, all 7 of them stepped off the elevator and onto the bottom deck. They stepped off and saw that the hallway to their right ended somewhere between 20 and 25 feet in front of them. The hallway in front of them was a dead end, but not a regular dead end.
This is a numbered door.
Yeah, it's door 2.
Immediately, they began to discuss who would go through it.
So who should go through the door this time?
We don't need to be discussing who we're leaving behind this time, right?
Right. It's set up so we'll be able to meet up again once we get through the numbered doors.
Then there's no need for arguments at this point.
We should figure out who's going in first.
Very well. Would anyone like to volunteer?
Yes, I'll volunteer.
I'll do it.
Me too. First to speak up was 7.
I'll go too.
Then I suppose I need to go too then.
5 plus 8 is 13. 13 plus 7 is 20. Cool. Junpei followed suit, which meant Lotus was by default the 3rd member. Okay, this is pretty cool. Now we're
Alright,
going into
we're taking off.
a door we've never been to before, and we have no other choice. We literally have no other choice because we did not go through doors 7 and 8.
Okay, please be careful.
This is really interesting. I'm actually really interested at this.
You two are acting like you're married, you know that?
Oh,
June blushed. So did Junpei.
Don't be silly. Cut it out.
Perhaps in an attempt to hide his emotions, he quickly turned away to pull the lever on the red. Door opened. I just want to see here. So yeah, so this only ends in one ending. Yeah, it only ends in one ending. Oh, that's interesting. As they had come to expect, there appeared to be a short hallway on the other side.
Alright, let's go.
Lotus was the first through the door.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
7 was next, and Junpei brought up the rear. The detonator started ticking.
Where the hell is it this time?
Shh.
I don't see it!
Oh, there it is! It's right there!
Fortunately, it took them only moments to find the dead. They'd been placed just inside the room, right next to the numbered door. They gathered around it and quickly scanned each of their bracelets. I like how terrified they get every single time they do it. Pew.
It stopped.
Yeah, it stopped.
Junpei could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. 7 and Lotus were breathing hard and fast.
Man, I'll never get used to that.
I'm not sure it's something I'd want to get used to.
They said the same thing when they went through the one door.
We should finish this game before imminent death becomes a normal thing.
That's a great line, and again, it's not as impactful as the first time I heard it, because he said the same thing when he goes to the one door. I have a feeling he's going to say the same thing when he goes to the 6th door as well.
Damn right.
Alright,
Junpei looked around again.
this hallway's pretty short, but it's got 5 doors.
Cool.
3 on the left,
3 on the right.
and
2
only
on the
1
right.
on the right.
Don't forget the last one at the end of the hall.
But it's got a metal plate over it, so I doubt we're gonna get anywhere that way.
After taking a look around the room himself, 7 spoke.
Alright, let's get started. I think we'd probably better split up. You two okay with that?
Yep.
Yes, no problem.
Sure thing.
Then I'll take this first one.
7 nodded to them and stepped into the room closest to him.
I'll try the one next to it.
Cool. Last, Junpei was left alone.
Well, I guess I'd better get started too.
Yep. Looked intently at the remaining 3 doors. Seek a way out. Okay. Things are pumping up again. Confinement room. Yeah, things are pumping up again. I like it. And now we're going through door 2. A door and we're going down this weird path, like this weird offset path. It's really like this as well. Where the fuck are we? Oh, we're there probably. Anyway, I am going to be starting this escape room the next episode. It looks pretty. So we're gonna have to go into all 3 of these doors, and then that's one. So it's like the 4 door again. Well, see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the episode.